What is more American than the Cessna 182 in aviation history? Not a whole lot. This is one of the most popular planes of all time in the United States, and today I'm super excited to bring you one of my all-time aviation favorites here on the channel from FMS. This is the brand new Cessna 182. It is a 60-inch wingspan running a 4S 3000 milliamp pack on here. It has a 3400 series brushless motor with a scale tri-blade prop in the front with that beautiful spinner up there looking nice, and looks like aluminum, but it is plastic. In the back we've got more scale details all the way down to that like iconic shark fin style tail with a Skylane and Cessna logo on the back, and it is licensed through FMS. So it's not just a kind of a one-off out of China. It's actually a licensed model. So it does also come with flaps built in. You can fly this on reflex, which we are going to do today in this video, and it flies really nice. So that's the good thing about this. I thought that as heavy as it was, I did test out the CG. There's marks here underneath the wing so that you can make sure that your CG from front to back, side to side is all good. Once that was done, we were ready to go fly. And I was scared about the weight of this, but it does have a releasable canopy here, and I'm going to show you in this review how clean everything is inside here. There is a plate that comes off which allows you to get to your servos to plug into your reflex. Your wires can snake up through the bottom right behind your battery, and you have enough space in here to be able to install your reflex, whether it's version 2 or version 3, right in the back here, and it flies beautifully. I put my reflex all the way back to where the pilot is. The scale detail on the pilot, he's sitting in his front cockpit seat there, and you have some scale details on the canopy as well, which are super cool. So it's a beautiful plane, and the construction of this, I was talking about this recently at the field, one of the AMA fields, that FMS has come a long ways. And I remember FMS back in the early days when I would go to Joe Knoll. They set up some huge sales tents with all kinds of different scale airplanes, and they've been doing this scale thing for probably, it seems like 15 years or more. FMS has really been interested in bringing details to people, but their build quality over the years has come so far. I believe that this type of build quality looks better than some of the, actually it is better than some of the E-flite planes that I've seen. The carbon spar construction, the way things snap together, the back has carbon spar through the tail, all the servos are pre-installed, and again you have the option for flaps, and the way that everything goes together, quality is there in this plane, which is really great. I was impressed by the quality. So A+ quality on something that you can buy PMP and not have to build up yourself and install servos and things. There are 9-gram servos in here. Again, 3400 series motor. We've got a 40 amp ESC in here, and my favorite size for a Sunday flyer, a 60-inch wingspan, which brings me back to one of my original trainer planes. This was kind of the standard size at the AMA fields, around the 60-inch for a trainer. So this one kind of be like a beginner to an intermediate sized plane, taking me all the way back to my Avistar days. And now I don't have to clean and wipe this plane down from the nitro fuel down the backside of the fuselage. We just take it out with a battery, plug it in with the XT60, and we're off and flying. So I set this one up with my reflex version 2 in here. Hopefully FMS will send us a version 3 to test out, but it flies just beautifully. So we're also going to fly even on one of the other radios that they sent me with another ready to fly was the FlySky. It's the cheaper FlySky radio, the AFHDS2A radio. So it bound right up to the receiver that's inside the plane that I did steal from my Ranger 1200. Without further ado, I won't keep you waiting. We're going to use a hat cam, and I'm going to show you a unique perspective inside the canopy today with an FPV view just behind where the pilot sits with my DJI-03 4K stabilized camera system. You're in for a treat. So let's go head out to the field now and let's do a flight test together. This is the maiden flight of the Cessna 182s from FMS. All right guys, little maiden flight of the FMS Cessna 182 Skylane. Looks beautiful. Flying on a 4S 3000 pack today. So here we go. Right now we are flying
right to left.
Right to left.
Yeah.
And we're gonna launch into the wind. Obviously we're gonna take off into the wind, so I'm just taxiing down, and we'll come around to the middle of the runway. Looks like we got a full scale kind of checking us out over there on the left, but they're not over our field, because let's go ahead and see how much it takes to get off the ground. There we go, not bad. That was pretty quick. Let me go ahead and give it a little more throttle and get up there a bit. How's the cockpit view?
Awesome.
Let's see about that rudder. Full rudder to the left. It's pretty quick. I'm about half throttle right now. So half throttle, everything's CG'd out pretty nicely. It's climbing pretty nice. A little bit of sun coming out for us, which is cool.
I don't think my directional gyro or artificial horizon are working though.
Well, it almost like floats back into the wind.
In the air.
It's really flying nice. That is a beautiful airplane, and you know, right now too I'm flying in full stability, so I'm just doing what I want, just kind of keeping my throttle about half stick, keeps the nose up. Still a little bit of a pass here. Just fly right at us, right by the control tower. The windsock is almost at 0, you know, so this is a Cessna, so I'm assuming there is some stall point, but that's pretty slow. And we've got 4S power on this plane too, so I'm not expecting that it's going to be underpowered at all. It's a pretty plane. But yeah, slow flying for a Cessna, not bad.
Oh, very sweet.
Good looking plane. Let's go ahead and give it a full throttle up. I'm sure I could get myself in trouble with full manual if I just start doing some flips or some rolls. But stability is nice, you know, for beginners. I would say this is a beginner to intermediate plane, in my opinion. So now I'm in no stabilization. I took the stabilization off. So let's come back around into the wind. It turns a lot sharper now. Let's get a little bit of altitude and try our first loop. We just go up and over. Nice. Big loop. Not a very tight loop, but a big loop. Really does pretty good. Pretty smooth even in manual. I don't feel like I'm have someone holding the driver's wheel now. There's also a third mode on it, which we can flip up into at the very top of the stick on this FMS transmitter. It's similar to Horizon mode. It should let us still do a roll, but bring us back to level. You could try that.
So in this mode you can get full deflection but still some stability?
Yeah, so if I let go of the sticks like this and I try to do a roll, it'll let me roll, but it'll bring me back to level. So you can see it kind of leveled itself out. So it's kind of a hybrid stability mode. So it did a pretty snappy roll. Now we can get back, going back. I'm gonna do that roll again into the wind. This time we'll do full manual. So we'll give it a little up and then over. Nice.
Nice axial roll.
Pretty quick.
Looks good from inside the cockpit.
Pretty snappy. How does the ground, and can you see the ground and the clouds and everything from the cockpit?
High resolution. It's a great view.
Awesome. So now we're back in stability. We could come by. I don't know how much battery we have left, but we're probably, I'm thinking around maybe a 10-minute flight time or something like that, but we'll just see. So this is our maiden flight on this plane too, so I don't know how how long the flight time is on a 4S 3000. I didn't really watch the other videos either, so. But wow, look at that, hands off right there.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm gonna come in kind of long and low. When I first started flying AMA fields back in the 80s, a lot of the older guys would always tell me, Justin, come in long and low. So I practiced that for years.
Scale.
Yeah. So we're coming in long and low. Try to keep that airspeed up a little bit here. Try to land right in front of us here. Pretty landing.
Bravo.
It's gonna do a little bit of a touch and go, but we probably got a couple minutes left of battery. There's like a speed bump right there. I took off over that earlier. I'm gonna take off again from right to left. I'm gonna try to go out quickly. Avoid my helicopter friend over there. But what a easy flying, easy flying plane, super easy. I was a little bit worried about the maiden on this one. I don't know why. One of my first electric planes, back 15 years ago, was a Hobby Zone Cessna.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was really small and notorious for crashing. I mean, sometimes the smaller ones, this was back in the days of no stabilization or gyro stability.
NICAD?
It may have been on a NICAD, that old plane. It was so little. Where I was flying was fairly windy, so that didn't help.
Look how beautifully it slow flies.
Yeah, that tail looks sharp back there.
Yes.
I may have forgotten to press record on the wing camera. But we'll have two views at least. I got so excited when I was getting everything ready here, I like the LEDs on the wings too. That prop the 3-blade prop seems to be doing it justice. Pulling pretty good. So we're gonna get up and we're gonna do see how it'll hold some inverted. Oh baby. So just then I was trying to do my inverted 8 and I got backwards on my rudder. But it will fly inverted. It'll also fly into the ground. Which I could have easily done. I forgot to hit the bail switch. So we're gonna come back in and this time not so long, because man, you can go way out on this field. All right, a little bit of a headwind now. So here is our final approach and our landing. Nice going, FMS. I like it.
Bravo.
To the very end of the runway right there. Beautiful. That was a lot of fun. I don't hate it.
No.
I don't hate it.
That's a real little sweetheart.
That's every guy's dream right there. The Cessna 182 with the LEDs on the front. You got a
Look at that.
silver spinner on the front. All the scale detail. That's a beautiful plane. Look at the color on the front and the prop.
Strobes, landing lights.
Strobe on the tail. Yeah, landing lights. That's cool. Landing gear is still on the plane. That's always a good day. Good day to take it home in one piece. since I almost crashed it at the end of the runway. It's never a maiden unless you almost crash it. All right, my friends, welcome back from the flight test. I just want to give you some final thoughts and some tips on the Cessna 182 if you decide to get one from FMS. They do come in red and blue. It is a P&P model, so that means that you'll have to add your receiver in here. I used just a FlySky out of my Ranger 1200 with my FlySky radio. It flew fine. I would rather fly it on my TX16S or my Boxer radio, which I can also do. You can bind up Spectrum receivers to 4-in-1 radios and also fly that Spectrum receiver on here. Or if you just have a Spectrum radio, you can fly this on a Spectrum receiver. You can run AS3X, full stabilization, and you can also run that Reflex V2 and V3 in here, which I did. And I'm gonna show you some details around this plane after we did our flight test, finally, to show you what I think about this plane as far as the construction, the layout of the interior things, accessibility for getting inside the canopy here to your battery, your flight controller, your receiver, and all that stuff, and how they've kind of staged things in here quite easily. It's very intuitive to work on this plane and get it set up. I didn't have issues where I was super frustrated about one thing about this plane. Sometimes when I get a brand new plane and I'm setting it up, there are things that like drive me insane, or something comes and it's very chintzy and just cheaply made. I didn't have any of those problems when I was setting this plane up, which is almost like a Christmas miracle in the RC field. So if you're in the hobby, you know you've done builds before and you find something, you're just like, I got to use a whole bunch of epoxy here because this is really cheaply made and is going to fall apart essentially when you fly it. But this one is really nicely made. So I want to walk you around this plane very quickly and show you what I like about it. And if there's anything in here I don't like, I'll tell you in this review and let you know. And I'm also going to give you a star rating at the end of this overview after the flight test. So now that we're to this point, let's go ahead and walk you around the plane, show you the things that I really love about it. And maybe, who knows, maybe there's some things about it that they can improve. All right, so now you're looking at the business end of this plane. It has a really nice profile. Check out the aluminum style spinner up front. It is plastic, but this does pop off and you can access the bolt that is holding this whole assembly on. And this is kind of nice. Sometimes I remove these when I'm in transport because I don't want to break that. But you can see that that is tightenable with a screwdriver. Did I just make up a new word, tightenable? So this is an 11x6 prop on here. It's a tri-blade scale prop. When you fire this up, it has a nice little circle around the front of the plane, kind of that cool like scale look when you fire up a real aircraft. We have air intakes on the front for cooling out that 40 amp ESC, and everything is staged underneath the internal platform for the battery and the flight controller inside here. So it has sort of a pretty sturdy button right here in the center, and if we press this down, it releases the top of the windshield, and there's a tab here, and you can see there's a tab up front here, as well as some pretty decent scale details here. It's got actual sticks, and what I thought was funny about this is that I mentioned at the airfield that this guy, he's actually holding some sticks here, but he's about 1.5 inches behind, where in the FPV view you could see he's not actually holding the sticks, which is kind of funny. But check this out. This is the main platform for the battery right here, and this is my 4S 3000 milliamp with the XT60 connector. This is the XT60 coming down from below this platform where the ESC, and there is a power distribution board here for your servos. So all of your servos come to just underneath this reflex controller and come up into the reflex from down below. So it makes things super neat. And I also put my receiver just in front of there and kind of zip tied down some of these wires. But look at all the extra room in here. So many activities we can do in here. It reminds me of the Step Brothers movie. So many activities. But that was the comment that we got at the field, was that, hey, this looks pretty clean in here. So they did a nice job. There's 4 bolts holding down this staging area, and once you pull this off, you have total access to everything. So little mini screwdriver just pops that off. And what I did was I snipped off corner spots here for wires to come out here and there. and it just made it really nice and clean looking there. So I have my fly sky antennas coming out each side there. I just wanted to have coverage on both sides of the aircraft for our signal. And there's our pilot in the pilot seat with our DJI FPV camera on, kind of mounted to my ceiling. And I went through several different iterations of, I put a little stage in there between the seats, and you can see kind of some hot glue damage there. If you do put hot glue on any of that interior stuff, it will kind of pull off that sort of paint that goes over top of the seats. So be careful there if you're doing any kind of hot glue type of mods like I was doing. But it is a pretty cool looking little cockpit area. It also has back seats, which is kind of neat. So you have some pretty scale looking 4-seater setup here for the Cessna 182. So I just plugged in the aircraft so you can see the lights on the end of the wingtips here. We've got a white one here. We've got our blinking strobe there. We have our landing lights up front, which is also kind of cool. We've got the green light over on the right side. And we also have a strobe on the top of the vertical stabilizer, which is also just awesome. You can see some more scale details down there with the Cessna logo, Skylane, and that sort of like iconic shark fin style tail on the Cessna. And the flaps here, the 9-gram servos with the covers, which is really nice. And it also has 2 snaps here for securing the wing into the side of the fuselage, which is nice. Also, guys commented on the wheel pants, how nice the wheel pants look up front for the tricycle landing gear. We've got some pretty sturdy arc cut. We've got some pretty sturdy hardware here for that front wheel as well, with some bracing on the backside, which is nice for those hard landings, because, you know, one of the first things you break off is that front wheel. A lot of times on a real hard landing, this takes all kinds of hard pressure from the weight of the battery up top and everything. And underneath here we have more scale detail with the exhaust pipes coming down. And one of my favorite details, and I might have mentioned before in this review, is that these struts, they don't have any pins on them. So you just heard that pop right there. That is because they just snap into the wing up top and down bottom. So if you're trying to put this in your car, it's pretty quick to like put on and off. And like, I'm probably able to do this like one-handed while I'm holding the camera here. So just push that back and it's already back on the wing. So really easy to take these on and off without the pins. And I just love that it doesn't have the pins on there. One other scale thing that I love about it is it does have the front and back antenna, 2 antennas up front, 1 in the back. And the cool thing about it is that not just for scale, but also for transport. So if you're trying to put this in your car or your truck and you have a tight space, so you're putting it in the back seat of a car, you can remove these before you take them home. So just push forward on it and it releases just like that. You can put it inside the canopy in here to keep them safe during transport. And a lot of times the first thing that breaks, and I was talking about this at the field, the first thing that breaks on these Cessnas are these little antenna scale details. So if they, a lot of times they come like just kind of part of the fuselage, and it's nice that these are sturdy, but they also come off super easy. So just push forward and they snap off, and then you can put it inside for transport. So there is a lot of things that I really enjoy about this plane. The construction feels nice and solid. I love the fact that after you build it up, it's easy to take it back apart for transport. I like that 60-inch size for a park flyer. It's very Sunday flyer friendly. I would say it's more kind of a beginner to an intermediate style plane. If you want to put reflex V2 or V3 on it, then you can have full stabilization. If you're a beginner and you're learning, just push the throttle stick, pull back on the right stick, and up you go. So auto stabilize on that flight controller. And then for intermediate guys who want to do barrel rolls, even inverted 8s and things like that, it will do, I would say, mild aerobatics, and depends on the pilot. So if you're a pro pilot, you're going to be able to kind of rip this one out of the box, which is kind of cool for what it is. And guys who are into FPV, you can get that cool like pilot's cockpit perspective if you decide to put your camera on there. It was a pretty easy installation, plenty of room inside the fuselage. You could even put your camera up top, mounted on the wing, and it's big enough to put multiple cameras all over it. So like in FMS's promo video, they put cameras all over it, inside the cockpit, on the tail, and out on the wings. We had a camera on the wing. I got so excited that I forgot to press record on that wing camera out here on the end. I have my Insta360 Go 2 on there, but I just really enjoyed flying this plane for you today. So I want to say thanks to FMS for sending us the 60-inch version of the Cessna 182 Skylane. Just a beautiful, beautiful plane with all the servos installed, pretty much everything you need except for a receiver, a battery, and a radio. So $300, blue or red, all the scale details. And for Cessna nuts out there, aviation enthusiasts like myself, you're going to love this plane. It is one of those planes that you'll take to the field every weekend and just have with your hangar of just planes that you really love and adore. So this one is great for me. And you know, I don't do this on my channel. I don't ever give out a 5-star rating on anything in the past 10 years. I can't remember that there's one review that I've done. And we have 46 million views, over 200,000 subscribers now. We do all types of different RC on the channel, from ground to planes, helis, to multi-rotors. And I've never given out 5 stars. But today, I'm giving out 5 stars for the Cessna Skylane 182 from FMS. It is a gorgeous flying airplane, and it's well built. So if you get it, you'll notice the same details and things that I did. If you have any comments to make about this plane, please do put it in the comments down below. If you bought one, what do you think about it? Have you had troubles with it? Is there any issues with it? Let the community know. If you have problems with yours, discuss it in the comments down below. And if you just love it and you have one, make that a comment as well. So I would love to hear what you think about this plane. I think it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and you know, I thought my Kingfisher was awesome until I got this one. So well done, FMS. I gotta say, 2 thumbs up, 5 stars from my channel for this one. And I wasn't paid to make this video. Even though I am an affiliate, yes, I can have my own opinion. It is possible to have your own opinion. So you'll see that right here on this channel. You see a lot of honest reviews, and you can tell by the way I react about these planes or multi-rotors, helis, or cars. I get really feeling back in the early days of RC. When I get excited about something, I feel like a kid again. And this one makes me feel like a kid again. So I appreciate you for watching my reviews and getting my insight on the new stuff that comes out in RC. You'll see it all right here on the channel. So click the subscribe button and hit the like button for it so it rises up in the ranks of RC YouTube videos. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.